Hey y'all, hey, it's Bodie, and I'm back with another message. To my new and current subbies, I love y'all. I swear, man, I appreciate every last one of y'all. Thank you for your presence and just, your love and all these beautiful things. Y'all got a message for us, okay? And you know how normally I say this message may or may not resonate with you. If it doesn't, check me out on the next one. Well, this is going to be a little bit different because I know that at some point in your life, this message is going to be significant for you, okay? So tune in, y'all. Tune in, all right? This message came to me, this download came to me at some point during 2023, all right? Spirit started to download to me the importance of the pillars and who the pillars were, their individual assignments, and things like that. And I knew that it was my duty to communicate this as much as I possibly could. And so throughout the year of 2024, I was really pushing getting this message out as much as possible. I reached out to all of the pillars in my life, and, we were able to build and things like that. But for some reason, okay, this is coming back up. And I feel like I need to imprint this message here on my channel, YouTube community as well. And I know it has a lot to do with the Pluto and Aquarius transit that will be here into 2044. So first things first, and I'm going to try to communicate this message as efficiently as possible. So y'all, just bear with me if you can, okay? But first things first, the pillars, all right? The pillars are the fixed energy, okay? The fixed energy of the zodiac. That includes Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, and Scorpio. So if you have Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, or Scorpio in your sun, rising, or north node, please tune into this message, all right? Tune into this message, darlings. However, this message is for everybody, but definitely take note, all right, if you are any fixed energy, because you are considered to be a pillar. Over the next 20 odd years, okay, during this Pluto and Aquarius transit, pillars, you will be called, all right, you will be called. You will be called to be a pillar for your community, for your families, for your friends, and you cannot buckle, all right? If you buckle, everything else around you will buckle, all right? This means that you have to do what you were called and created to do, which is stand strong, to stand solid, to be firm for your family, friends, and community. Every pillar, Spirit downloaded to me how every pillar, what their assignment was, you know what I mean? And it's like we all have an assignment, but these assignments were very specific for each pillar, but the assignments are varied as well. It's like no two pillars are going to do the exact same assignment in the exact same way. You know what I mean? But for the most part, these are the assignments that each pillar has when it comes to being that pillar for your family, friends, and community. So let's start with Aquarius. Aquariuses are the intuitive plan, all right? They are the guides for the next 20 years, all right? They will be offering different solutions, you know what I mean, Spirit is going to be downloading the Aquarius's sun, rising, north nodes with different insights and revelations and, visions and downloads that can help the collective thrive. You know what I mean? So if you have an Aquarius sun, rising, north node in your life, like really hang on to them, because they're going to have the plan, man. They are the intuitive plan. Their intuition is going to be heightened and it's going to be on point. All right. Y'all should really be tuning in to Aquariuses, especially the elevated ones, when they talk, when they're offering solutions, when they're, coming with a vision, because that's the truth. It's coming straight from spirit. So the Aquariuses are like the brain of the collective. They're like the spirit of the collective. OK, they're receiving intuitive hits directly from the Most High when it comes to keeping the collective afloat, to keep us thriving and to keep us going in the right direction. All right. So that's what the Aquariuses are. They are the intuitive plan. If you are an Aquarius sun, rising, north node, it's going to be so important over the next 20 years that you spend a lot of time with spirit. Okay. You have to be able to meditate for at least 30 to 45 minutes per day. You have to work yourself up there. You know what I mean? It's like fasting is going to be important for you as well, because your crown chakra has to be clear in order for you to be a pillar for your community, your family, and your friends. You have to have a solid, awesome relationship with the Most High. You have to be able to tune into your intuition. You got to have faith in knowing that what you are intuiting is coming from spirit. The more water you drink, the more meditation you do, the more time you spend with spirit, the more you ground your energy on the earth, the louder and clearer God's voice will be for you, Aquariuses. Okay? Again, make sure you're fasting periodically throughout the year to keep your crown chakra as clear and open as possible. That's going to be so important. It's very important as well for Aquariuses to be drug-free, drug and or alcohol free. This is true for all of the pillars, to be quite honest with you. In order for y'all to really be a pillar, man, and not buckle over the next 20 years, it's best practice to be drug and alcohol free. Yes. All right. And Aquarius, that's especially true for you. All right. So, yeah, man, it's time to get to work, Aquas. As an Aquarius sun, it's time to get to work. All right. Moving on to the counterpart of the Aquarius, which is the Leo. If you are a Leo, sun, rising, north node, your assignment, right, is to lead the people. To lead the people, to show them where to go. Y'all are the leaders of the collective, Leos. Okay, you're the leaders. Because of your courage, because of your heart, people are going to be looking at you all for inspiration, man. You know what I mean? So Leos, it's important for you to get physically active. You got to be physically active. If you are overweight, you got to start exercising. You got to start taking care of your body. You're going to need your body because you're going to be the leader. You're going to have to lead. You're going to have to be strong, darling. You know what I mean? And this don't necessarily mean going out there lifting weights and becoming bodybuilders, but you need to create an exercise regimen. You need to start eating better. You need to start feeding your physical body better. And that includes your mind, your body, and your spirit. Fasting is going to be important for you as well. As a matter of fact, fasting is going to be important for every pillar that I talk about. Fasting, taking care of the physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional body. But especially true for you, Leos. Of all the pillars, your body is so important. So you are the inspiration. People are looking to you for strength, for courage, for leadership. You have to be able to show up for your community, your family, and your friends as that pillar of leadership and strength. So you're like the heart of the collective, right? Aquarius is like the spirit, like the mind of the collective. You're the heart of the collective, okay? Like I said, physical exercise having a better eating regimen, really taking care of your body, man, your mind, your soul, really getting yourself in good shape. You know what I mean? Working on your confidence. I know most Leos don't have no issues with confidence, you know what I mean? But if you do, if you have any type of insecurities at all, like working on those insecurities, you know what I mean? Leveling up your confidence. All right, is going to be important for y'all, and not being afraid to be a leader. And you're leading the people. You know what I mean? So this is separate from ego. It's like you're leading the people. You know what I mean? People are going to be looking up to you and relying on you to lead them, and it has to be separate from ego, Leos. Moving on to the Scorpio and Taurus axis. Scorpios, if you are a sun, rising, north node Scorpio, let me tell you something. Y'all are the healers of the pillars. You are the healers. All right? People are going to be coming to you all for healing of their mind, their body, their soul, their spirit. They're coming to y'all for healing. Some Scorpios will be into like medicinal herbs. Some Scorpios will be into, different foods that, like changing the diet. Some Scorpios will be into, there's so many different variations of how a person can heal, holistic healing. All right. Nurturing and caring for the mind, body, soul, and spirit of the collective. That is your assignment, Scorpio. Every Scorpio I know is a healer in some kind of way, whether they're healing through what they're cooking. They may have a healing touch. You know what I mean? They can deal with energy. You know what I mean? But healing the collective, that's your assignment. And whatever which way you choose to do that. You know what I mean? Like, the collective needs to know where to go to heal their mind, body, and soul. Okay? So important. And so Scorpios have to really become very self-aware. They need to be coming to a point where they are working on themselves, right? Whatever healing or shadow work that they have to do, that they've clear, that they're clearing that out the very beginning part of this transit, this Pluto and Aquarius transit. Y'all are clearing that out, and Pluto came into Aquarius back in 2024, November 19th, 2024, right? And so from that point up until this year of 2026, that's the time that the Scorpios, that really the pillars have to work on what they need to work on so that they can get in full position as pillars for their family, community, and friends. So this is your time, Scorpio. If you haven't done so already, really work on thyself, healing thyself, you know what I mean? Doing that shadow work, getting yourself right, and learning as much as you can about healing. Pick something, right? Is it womb healing? Is it energetic healing? Is it healing from trauma? Are you helping people with medicinal herbs? Are you a holistic, practitioner? You know what I mean? Like, are you helping people heal through the foods that they eat? You know what I mean? But like, pick some type of healing modality and dive into it and practice that and become a master at that, because that's going to be how you're going to be able to help heal your family, friends, and community. If you buckle, those around you will buckle, darling. Again, fasting is going to be important as well for the Scorpio. Every single pillar. Moving on to the Taurus pillar. Tauruses. Y'all are the pillars of community. You know what I mean? So your assignment, Taurus, sun, rising, north node, your assignment is going to be to remind the collective of our morals, values, and respect. You know what I mean? Like, things are going to be dismantling and changing in so many different ways, man. There's going to be so much fear going on throughout the next 20 years because there's a breakdown that's happening with that Pluto and Aquarius transit. Things have to be dismantled in order for a new world, a new reality to be rebuilt. And there's going to be a lot of fear going on, right? People are going to start to lose themselves. They're going to start to lose sight of what's important. But the Tauruses are going to be there to remind their family, friends, and community what their morals and values are, what's most important, which is each other, which is community. Another thing about you guys, y'all are the ones that's responsible for the land. Communities, creating communities, purchasing land, setting up community gardens, you know what I mean? Y'all are going to be like the facilitators, or like the glue is what I should say, when it comes to keeping the community striving and focused on what matters most, which is love, which is family. You know what I mean? It's like y'all are going to be there to remind us what is most valuable, right? So Taurus is, like I told the other pillars, fasting is going to be important. You know what I mean? You taking care of your emotional, mental, physical, spiritual body is going to be important. And also, start building up communities. You know what I mean? Start to create a presence amongst different kinds of communities. Start to travel, start to, graze the land that's around you. You know what I mean? Like, learn about gardening. You know what I'm saying? Even getting off into property investing and things like that. Learning as much as you can about obtaining land and developing land and, like I said, developing gardens and, that type of thing. You're going to be responsible for that, to lead your family, friends, and community into that type of living where we are relying on each other, we're loving on each other, we're sticking together, we have a community garden, we're living together, we're breathing and thriving together, okay? And always stay true to your morals and your values, and that is intuitive for you, Taurus. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. Always stay connected to that. So that's the very first message that I really want to share with you guys. Again, take a look at your chart. If you're not a sun or rising pillar, a lot of you guys are North Node pillars. We have a lot of North Node pillars, man, and a lot of people don't even know. We have a lot of North Node pillars, and so definitely look into your chart to see what your North Node is. And if you don't know what your rising is, make sure you tune into that as well. And if you're a pillar, really tune in, man. Really, this is not a joke. I swear it's not a joke. But like I said, if you buckle, everything around you will buckle. So you are being called pillars. Now, if you know a pillar, an Aquarius, Leo, Scorpio, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Sun, Rising, North Node, y'all trust them. You know what I mean? Connect with them, trust them, lean into them, help them. You know what I mean? Keep them encouraged, lift them up, because they really have a very overwhelming, powerful calling on their life. You know what I mean? But whatever they're going to be doing is going to be genuine. It's a genuine thing. So lean into the pillars that you have. Assist them, help them, lift them up, love on them, because they're going to be there to assist you, uplift you, and to love on you. Okay? So that's the very first part of this message that I wanted to get across. Of course, everyone, even, like if you're not a pillar, of course, everyone, right, plays a part in the grand scheme of things when it comes to this Pluto and Aquarius transit. We all play a part. We're all significant and important, right? Like some of you guys will be teaching the pillars what they need to learn. You know what I mean? Some of y'all will be in community side by side by the pillars, helping them lead or whatever they're doing. You know what I mean? So everybody plays an intricate part in the grand scheme of things. We're all significant. We're all very much so important. We all decided to be here during this time of Pluto and Aquarius. We all decided to be here and to make an impact. Okay? But Pluto and Aquarius, right? Pluto and Aquarius, it's here until 2044, Like I mentioned before, there's going to be a dismantling, and we are starting to see that happening already, a dismantling. The dismantling will continue to move on. It will continue to happen. There will be dismantlings in the church systems and the educational systems and the financial systems, you know, in the way that we interact with each other, you know what I mean? In the way that we do business and the way that we live, man, will be dismantled throughout the next 20 years. But a new world is going to come about, a new world. And so we're having to place ourselves in the right positions around the right people. That is so important, to start curating relationships in the right communities around the right people. You know what I mean? Find as many pillars as you possibly can. Find as many genuine, loving people as you possibly can, because that's going to be so important. This transit, if nothing else, is going to teach us and show us how important it is to have each other. That's what this transit is going to do for sure, if nothing else. You know what I mean? It's not about this selfish energy anymore. It's not about me, me, me. It's about us. It's about we moving forward. You know, and this transit is going to show us that it's going to force us to love on each other again. You know what I mean? It's so important to be around the right people, man, because that's going to be your level up or your downfall. So if you've been just called, or if you've had this desire to walk away from people, to release people, family, friends, whoever, then man, you have to at some point get to where you are doing just that. It's so important to be around the best people. It's so important to move throughout the next 20 years with faith versus fear. You know? It's so important to take any type of insights or revelations or visions that we're getting from spirit. It's so important to write those down and to act on them moving forward, because spirit is here. Spirit, our ancestors, it's alive, man. It's alive, and it is well, and it is thriving, and it wants to help us. It's trying to guide us if we are still enough to allow it. You know what I mean? So there's going to be a lot of changes happening over the next 20 years. We will forever be changed. Each and every person that's living and breathing on this earth will be affected in positive ways and challenging ways. Yes, we're going to go through growing pains collectively. Yes, we're going to reach higher heights collectively, you know. But another thing that we're going to realize as a collective is that the life that we want, the life that we desire, is so possible. Right? This Pluto and Aquarius transit is not going to be all bad at all. There's going to be so much inspiration. And like, it's like the people collectively, we're going to come to this understanding that whatever kind of life we want, we can have it. We can do anything that we want to do. We can achieve and accomplish any reality that we want to, right? There are no barriers. There are no limitations. Especially when we're around the right people. You know what I mean? And so it's a wonderful time to be alive. It really is. It's a wonderful time to be alive. You know, yes, there's going to be a dismantling of how we do life. There's going to be a dismantling of what we consider to be comfortable. But just imagine the new world that is rebuilding itself as we speak. And we are the creators of that new world. We are the creators of all of that. How hopeful, how inspirational that is. Yeah, man. I think, I said this in my 2022 download. I'm sorry. Well, the year of 2022 may be significant for somebody, but I said this in my 2026 download about AI, you know what I mean? And us really having to lean into AI as a tool versus our everything. And as long as we can lean into AI and use it only as a tool to make our lives easier and not lean into it as our everything, our intuitive mind and things like that, then we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. We just can't let AI get too far ahead of us. And that's the thing that I don't want to see. You know what I mean? But yeah. Just one last thing that I wanted to share with the collective. Take a look, right? When you're looking into your chart, if you don't know what your north node is, take a look also into your natal chart and then see where Pluto is at in your chart. In what house, in what area of life is Pluto sitting for you in your chart? Also, take a look at where Aquarius is at in your chart. In what area of your life is Aquarius sitting at in your chart? Those two areas of your life is going to be transformed, dismantled, and rebuilt over the next 20 years, okay? That is how this transit is specifically affecting you as a person. Wherever Pluto is at in your chart and wherever Aquarius is at in your chart, those two areas of your life will be forever changed, okay? That's how this transit is affecting you. We know Pluto brings about rebirth, transformation, destruction. It's very powerful. Pluto also brings power to these areas of our lives, okay? So that's what it's coming to do. It's coming to bring power to you in some way. It's coming to transform you in some way. You know what I mean? And it's very intense energy, and whatever it destroys, right? Because people talk about how destructive Pluto can be, and it is. It's very destructive, but whatever it destroys, it has the power, the discipline, the determination to rebuild something stronger. You know what I mean? So take a look at your chart and see where Pluto and Aquarius is at. Those areas, those two areas of your lives are going to be very significant over the next 20 years. Brace yourselves for those changes. Brace yourselves for a rebirth, for a transformation in those areas of your life, and have fun with it. Co-create with spirit in those two areas of your life. Decide, okay, if this area of my life is going to be rebuilt, well, this is how I want it to be rebuilt. Like, have fun with it. Co-create with the universe, But the more you know, the more prepared you're able to be, all right? Last but not least, I want to share this with the collective during this Pluto and Aquarius transit. Like I said, it's here to the year of 2044. Try to create our gardens. You know what I mean? Like, start creating a garden. I don't care if you live in an apartment. You have a balcony or you have some kind of outside space. You can start creating your garden in pots. You know what I mean? Like, creating our own gardens is going to be important. Another thing, having survival book bags, okay? Or having survival kits. That's going to be another important thing. Like, I have about 4 survival book bags that's filled with, batteries, flashlights, pens, papers, candles, canned goods, rope, tents, you know what I mean? Just all different types of, first aid kits, you know what I mean? So start developing that type of stuff as well. Survival backpacks, survival kits, and then learning survival skills. How to make a fire, how to set up a tent, how to fish, how to cook the fish once we done caught the fish, stuff like that. Edible, berries and wildlife and things like this. You know what I mean? How to hunt. Yeah, that's going to be important for us over the next 20 years collective. But that's the message that I wanted to share with you guys that downloaded to me back in 2023. And for some reason, I was inspired to share this here on this community. And I trust whoever needed to hear this message will receive this message. And until next time, y'all, bye.